baobab tree. These baobab trees are also known as the upside down tree, just because they can remain leafless on top for up to 9 months out of a year. So it kind of looks like the roots of the tree are sticking out on top. Now that is going to be a great way to identify these trees as we continue on. They are very popular to the animals of the savanna because they're known as a water source to them. So those trees do have the ability to store up to 40,000 gallons of water inside of their trunks. They are going to soak up water from the roots in the ground and then store it in their trunks during dry seasons. And then you'll find different animals piercing holes into the trees with horns or tusks to grab that water when they need it. On the right is the first animal, black and white stripes of a Hartman's mountain zebra. Zebras are very social, non-territorial animals, and they do like to travel together in groups called dazzles. So I'll have to keep an eye out for any more members of that one's dazzle. Zebras do spend majority of their day eating and walking around their environment. Their primary source of food is grass, so you will see them munching down on the grass from time to time. They actually consume so much grass it does help wear down their teeth day to day, and that can be pretty helpful since zebra teeth never stop growing. On the right there, you're going to see sable antelopes in the tall grass. Those antelopes do get darker the older that they get, but darkest ones will be males, a little bit lighter ones will be females. Over on the left, back left-hand corner, those are African painted dogs. Most times people do confuse these animals for hyenas, but they actually have no relation to the hyena. They're a lot closer to the canine family. These animals are a close-knit pack. They do like to rely on one another in order to live day to day. They are one of the most successful hunters out in the wild with an accuracy rate higher than lions. And the reason why they're so good at hunting is because they choose to work together. On the left, these are Ankole cattle. They're also called Watusi cattle, and they have large horns on their head that can stretch anywhere from 4 to 7 feet long side to side. Although their horns look really heavy on top of their heads, they're actually pretty hollow. Inside of each one, you'll find a honeycomb-like structure. That honeycomb does help them out day to day. It allows their blood to flow up into their horns and then back down into their body, and that cycle does help reduce their body temperature. So it works just like a built-in air conditioning system. Up ahead, either side of the truck, well, maybe just the left-hand side, you're going to see some Maasai giraffes. Now, as we get closer to these giraffes, take a good look at their spots. That is one way that you can identify what type of giraffe they are. So for Maasai giraffes, each of their spots has a rough and rigid edge to it. Looks just like a puzzle piece on their coat. But as we continue to see more, you can compare their coats next to one another and see that no two coats are ever the same. Each of them will have their own unique coat pattern to themselves, just like you and I have our very own fingerprint. So that helps them tell each other apart and helps us tell them apart as well. These giraffes can reach heights anywhere from 16 to 20 feet tall, which is the same length as the Nile crocodiles we saw. So I always say picture one right next to them. And giraffes can start off pretty tall at birth. When they're born, they can reach up to 6 feet. Looks like there's another Hartman's mountain zebra over here on the right. As we round the corner, you'll actually get to see another couple zebras. If you keep a close eye, you might even see a younger zebra hanging out with mom over there on the right. But if you look all the way at the top of the hill, you might also see smaller antelope laying around. Those are springbok. Springbok do get their name from their ability to spring. That spring motion is also called pronking. They will pronk at about 6 feet tall into the air and 13 feet forward. On the right here, these are wildebeest. Wildebeest like to travel in groups too, just like zebras. But wildebeest groups are called implausibilities. Wildebeest groups are a little different than others of the savanna just because they are very large. They can reach up to 1.5 million wildebeest together in one single spot. Up next, friends, we're going to enter my favorite part of the reserve, also known as elephant country. And if you look in between the trees up ahead on the right, you'll see an African elephant. African elephants are some of the largest that you can find in the entire world. For them, it's always easy to identify what type of elephant they are because of their ear shape. It very loosely resembles the shape of Africa. It does look like there's only one elephant hanging out over here, but don't worry. I know another good spot up ahead where I tend to find more elephants hanging out. But since you're only seeing one elephant here, that does tell me that they are most likely a male. Now the reason for that assumption is because male elephants, they do like to seclude themselves from others at around age 15 as they continue to mature. So typically you will find males spending their days alone. As we keep moving, maybe we'll get lucky and get to see a group of elephants. If we find a group, it's also called a family group. They are made of both female and younger baby elephants, always led by the oldest and most mature female elephant in their family. With this to say, that does mean we typically find mother and daughter elephants. They like to stick together for most of their lives since they rely on that family group pretty heavily. Now I must mention there is another type of elephant group you can come across. It is just more rare, but sometimes male elephants may choose to travel in small groups of males only. And if you ever see those groups, that's also called a bachelor herd. As we make our way under the tunnel here, you might start to see some red clay either side of the truck. I think I even see some elephant test marks there on that right-hand side. That is a good sign that more elephants are up ahead. If we didn't know, red clay is used as a nutritious source for these animals. So they'll actually come up and take a bite out of the red clay every day. It works almost like a multivitamin for them. As we travel throughout elephant country, you might notice some more baobab trees over here. Elephants do like to pierce holes in those trees with their tusks. But in addition, you're also going to see some mud wallows. Mud wallows are really big piles of mud and dirt laying on the ground. Really common around elephants since they have sensitive skin. So just like you and I protect our skin, these animals do the exact same. They're going to grab mud and dirt with their trunks and then throw it up on top of themselves. They're going to coat their skin in it and use it just like we would a sunblock or a bug repellent. Now, in addition to using mud and dirt to help protect and cool down their skin, another thing these animals can do is actually flap around their ears. Each elephant ear has blood vessels in them. When they flap and activate those blood vessels, it does help reduce their body temperature by about 15 degrees. So it works just like a built-in air conditioning system like the Ankole cattle in their horns. There is an elephant hiding behind the tree there on the left, so it's a little bit harder to see them. As we continue moving forward, I believe there's some more elephants hanging out on that left-hand side. Again, a little bit closer to where the tall grass is. So keep an eye out for them as we turn the corner. But also on the left, you're going to see greater flamingos. And keep an eye out for any younger greater flamingos out there. They're going to look like little, small, gray fluff balls. So as you can see, greater flamingos, they don't start off pink. These animals will actually be born that light gray color, and then as they continue to grow up and eat more food, that's where they gain their pink. It does come from the shrimp that they eat that is rich in beta-carotene. I will say that greater flamingos are the lightest of pink out of the entire flamingo species. However, when you see a whole group of them, that is still called a flamboyance because of that bright, vibrant color. Around the corner on the left way, across the way, you'll see white rhinos, and then closest to us here, an ostrich. Ostriches are the largest birds in the world. They do have wings on either side of their body, but they're not going to use their wings to fly. Instead, they like to use their wings to help direction themselves while they run. They are the fastest land animal in the world on two legs, so ostriches can reach speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. and they'll cover anywhere from 8 to 12 feet in front of themselves with every single stride. Over on the left, again, these are white rhinos. They're on the larger end of the rhino species, so that means they will reach weights of up to 5,000 pounds. Besides their weight, you can also tell they're a white rhino because of their square-like jaw structure. So their jaws are just a little bit wider than other rhinos. On the left top of the hill there, you might be able to see some spots laying around. That is a cheetah. There's another one sitting up on the far left-hand corner by the tree. Better view of them. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals in the entire world on 4 legs. They can reach speeds of up to 65 miles per hour in just a matter of 3 seconds. Although they're super fast in a short amount of time, these animals can't hold that speed very long. They only run for a few hundred yards before they need to take a break. There's another cheetah top right-hand corner over here. When cheetahs are running, they like to use their tails to help direction themselves. They're also going to use their claws to help grip the ground since they are non-retractable. And lastly, they like to use that black stripe on either side of their face since it helps reflect the sun out of their eyes. So it's almost like they are wearing a pair of sunglasses every day so they can run and hunt during the daytime. Looks like we've made it to Kopi Rock. Kopi rocks, or formations of rocks like this, are really popular out on the savannah. They are commonly used by different animals as an advantage point. So we'll sing around and see what other animals we can find. And if you look over there on the left, looks like there is a male lion out and about right now. Just above him, you'll actually see the female lioness, and pretty special, looks like both of them are awake right now. Lions do need around 18 to 20 hours of sleep in a single day. These animals are also nocturnal animals, so that means they're going to spend most of their awake time at night. I do like to give the female lioness a little shout out. She's so important in a group of lions, also called a pride. And that's because females, they're in charge of doing all of the hunting. They actually go out and gather the food, where males stay back to protect the territory and any members of the pride. Just like the African painted dogs we saw, lions are another animal of the savannah that will choose to work collaboratively when they hunt. Over on the left, past that first tree, way in the back, you might be able to see 3 warthogs laying all together. Warthogs are related to pigs. They're just a little different since they have tusks at the front of their face that are made out of ivory. They actually have 4 tusks in total, so a large set used for digging. They will dig out burrows or holes that you're seeing there on the side of the road as a way to protect themselves. But in addition, they can also use that second set of tusks that they have since they are very small and almost razor sharp. I like to mention that although these warthogs are small in size, they do have the ability to run just as fast as a white rhino at 35 miles per hour. Does look like we're making our way into the Magadi Glen. Magadi Glen is home to our warden's post. And our wardens like to keep company with animal friends, so it's also home to some Nigerian dwarf goats. And as you see, these goats, don't let them fool you. Almost all of them are grown to full adult size, so it's about as big as they'll ever get. They are very playful, very social animals, and although they are small in size, they do have the ability to produce milk. Their milk is extremely nutritious as well as very sweet. But friends, whenever I see the warden's post that does tell me our adventure out here, it is coming to an end soon. But don't worry, if you enjoyed your time, there are so many ways you can stay connected to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve and the animals that live out here. One easy way to do that is by going home and finding ways to eliminate human to animal conflict. Basically, find different ways that you can protect these animals at home. And an example of that can be through reducing, reusing, and recycling. You'll be surprised, friends, that there's so many little things you can do back at home to help make a huge impact in an animal's life, their home, and for the planet that we share with these animals every day. So as you travel home, I encourage you to find that one way, whether it's using a reusable water bottle, turning off the water lights so you're not using them, and even making donations to charitable organizations or thrift shops. Now friends, another great way to stay connected to these animals is just by learning about them. So hopefully I was able to teach you something new on our adventure. I hope you got to see your favorite animal, or maybe an animal you've never heard of before. And now you can take all the knowledge that you have back home with you and keep sharing their stories. Friends, this is a great time to go ahead, check your rows, check your aisles, make sure you're not leaving anything behind here with me. And if we have any wilderness explorers on board, you're aboard the Simba 1. Simba like the lion and the number 1. But friends, out here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye when we part. Instead, we like to say kwaherini, which means to go well. So friends, again, my name is Elena. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. Kwaherini, I hope that y'all go well out there, go wild, and go have a great rest of your day right here in Animal Kingdom.